We were able to fix up most of what was destroyed among our group's tanks from our last battle, but much of it was still in bad condition. We had to stop by a nearby garage to repair what we could, and were lucky to be able to fix up the once before enemy's M7, since it was in the least critical condition compared to the others, and it was all we could afford. The Americans took it upon themselves to drive the new tank, as we knew we were going to need every ounce of extra power and strength to take on our next greatest anticipated foe. We prepared ourselves for the journey ahead and knew of a shortcut we decided to take to buy us more time to the coordinates we had overheard from our last encounter of the location where we would hopefully see our soon-to-become most feared enemy. The feeling and thought of preparing an attack against a group that had been starting to become known as the greatest threat throughout the land left our group starting to feel doubts and fears of our encounter. But we all knew what we had to do, as it would eventually seem inevitable our paths would cross one day. It almost seemed like we all knew we were driving to our own graves as we kept pressing forward to keep our heads high. The memories of where we had come from and where we were at now and the point of our journey started to fill our German's family minds as we remembered what we had been through, which led us to remember once more what we originally stood for and who was now standing in our way of being able to obtain our struggle to one day have peace and hope. The temperatures dropped as an early spring fall started to come down upon us. Our tracks trudged over the war-torn, deserted land as we began to approach the familiar location the coordinates had led us. A location we knew it was the place once known where we had originally encountered the KV and their friends in the A-20. We began to hear the final combative cannon fires echoing in the distance as we look out to see the other group that had called for help start to fall and get destroyed from the Black Plague as smoke and fire is seen filling the air. We only had about a day before the Black Plague would soon reach us, to be passing through our area to reach the next closest garage in the canyon lands to get repairs and continue on their way. We figured our best chance at victory against them was to freshly encounter them after a fight, but we didn't even know if the last group stood a chance to do much, or if our strategy would even make much of a dent, since the strength and skill known from this clan had been known to be unmatched. The sight of the once seen before forever cold town of Malnikova came into view, as we hoped it wouldn't cause any hard feelings rekindled between us and the crew of the KV. The Russian father radioed in for us to travel inside the abandoned town to prepare ourselves for the ambush against the oncoming division of the Black Plague, and to see if their deceased friends from the A-20 were still where they had once heard being. Our tanks began to roll to the center of the town as the appearance of the charcoal-burnt A-20 came into view. Our German family tried to swallow the intensity we started to feel as we parked our tanks around the destroyed tank. We began to all crawl out as we saw our Russian father stand to take a moment of silence and respect for those that were also once his friends, as the rest began to join him. We looked over at the crew of the KV as we hoped the feeling of seeing their passed away friends wouldn't tear apart what we had just built between us. After the silence had passed, the group buried the bodies of the crew's remains and decided to try to get the A-20 back up and running to see if it could help continue fighting once more in the struggle we knew we were about to face. The sight of smoke and fire in the distance from the fallen group alarmed us of the race against the clock we had before the division of the Black Plague would arrive for our ambush. The day fades away as the morning arises to the sound of the resurrected A-20 engine beginning to fire back up and roar once more. We clapped and congratulated each other for the success as the Russian family hops in the new tank and looks around at his comrades in silence before giving one last, final speech before their encounter. Friends, comrades, I know what we're about to embark on is a choice there's no turning back on, but it is necessary for our future hope and survival. Once this action takes effect, this will cause the Black Plague to become aware of who we are and what we stand for. Let us send them that message. Let us send them that message we believe in our hearts and fight for our family and friends we have lost before us. The group looked up as the Russian father began to climb down from his tank. The speech gave us the realization and added strength. As we take our last moment to look at each other, we begin to hear the rumble under our feet and tracks screeching from the oncoming Black Plague among us in the distance. I look back at my family, our tank, the Muffin, and our new friends as they start to climb into their tanks to take positions and prepare themselves for the attack they were seconds away from embracing. We too climbed in our tank to take our position as we started to get eyes on our approaching enemy. We watched in silence as the realization of the division about to pass us by was the same division that had killed the group's friends from before. But unfortunately, they didn't seem as damaged as we had hoped from their previous battle, as the countdown from 3 began to take our first shots upon them.